And we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We do hope that you are enjoying the program as much as we are enjoying being in your company. And today we are all about broadening our knowledge when it comes to biological pesticides. And to catalyze that, we are joined by two experts from Organic Field, Mr. Samson Mwangi and also Juliet Njeru. Thank you so very much for making time to be with us today right here at Kenya's Gold. Now we do want to get into the conversation of using biopesticides. Na hapo kwa feature tumeona hawa wakulima wetu walikuwa wanatumia Tithonia, all right, which is a crop that grows in different parts of the country. Please, Mr. Samson, help us understand what other crops, what other natural biological substances can we use when it comes to making biopesticides? Give us the varieties.
There are very many plants that have medicinal capacities, and if you look at even the non-biological products, they are based on them. Like when you look at pyrethrum, so we have taken pyrethrum and converted it into pyrethroids, which are synthetic. But pyrethrum is very strong. Other products which are very popular and registered worldwide is like something like azadirachtin or neem marubaine.
Yes.
So it has very, very powerful effects. Things like garlic, which has very nice, very many combination of products which are in it. And when you look at the setup of the farm, you can identify them without necessarily going to a lot of science by realizing, like if you have a potato crop, then you find there are some weeds that are not being affected by they are looking near the potato, but then they are not affected by what is affecting the potato. If it is a pest which is eating potatoes, you find that although it looks like potatoes, it is not being eaten. It means it has some repellent capacity. It is repairing them to some extent.
Right.
And so they are all over. And that is why, if you look at what that guy before us was talking about, is that you are mainly trying to repellent. And even though when you are making all those things, you are trying to make those pests not come to the crop. Yeah.
So very quickly, just before I move to Juliet, recently we were speaking to a farmer who was saying there's a weed that we have just identified that can also be used to make biological pesticides. Please help us understand, do we have research centers that also help us certify the crops that we are using so that we don't go the assumption way, tunaona hii ni kama hii plant, haikuli, haifektiwi, we can use this. So how are we making sure we are not choosing assumption, but we are also basing the crops that we are going for on a factual basis for organic pesticides?
Yes. What happens is that our universities have taken it very seriously, like University of Nairobi, Jomo Kenyatta University, and other universities. But what usually happens is that some of this is what we call traditional knowledge. You will find in a community like the Kikuyu, you'll find that they know a certain plant can heal whatever, or can repel this. So from that traditional knowledge, then you try to develop now a scientific extract. Like the garlic thing, it has been known that it has good effects on, or some repairing aspects on pests. So now, as scientists, they go try to extract, try to understand what is it in it, and you find now they come with the chemical formulas. They understand exactly what it is. Now, in some countries like China, like India, you find they have done that very well. They have advanced it very well. But what I would the answer to your question is that we develop it from the traditional knowledge. It is whichever community you go to. If you go to the Maasais, they have some traditional knowledge and of their plants that exist within their community. Now that is where universities start from, and they are doing a good job. And if you have one that you want to request, maybe to understand, like we may have a plant and we want to understand it better, they will be willing to study it.
All right. So it starts from the traditional knowledge, and then now it's escalated to research centers and schools.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I'll come to Juliet. And when we're using the synthetic pesticides or chemicals, we are very much advised to be geared up, protected, you're fully clothed. And I'd like to understand, is that the same thing with biological pesticides? Can a farmer just, mi venye tu nimevaa, I go spray? Are there risks that I need to protect myself from?
Okay, when you are dealing with organic or biopesticides, it's not a must to be very geared up. You have the mask and the apron and what have you, but it's always advisable to be safe. because we are using the garlic, the ginger. Of course, they have a certain level of ingredients that can tamper with your skin, maybe you're allergic to, or things like peppers. We use pepper to make the biopesticide. You see, it is irritating.
Preferably, you're red, you're green?
The hot chili.
The hot one.
Or the demon, as they call it.
The red one.
Yes.
All right.
So we use chilies, we use aloe vera. You see, these are things that plants that contain saps that can irritate your skin or cause burning to your skin. So it's good to be protected, but not as extensive as the synthetic, because there are no residues from the biological pesticides.
All right. Yeah. So Juliet, please tell me, how effective are biopesticides? Because if you look at one of the biggest challenges facing organic farming is the fact that the farmers will tell you very honestly that these crops are still susceptible to getting a lot of pests and diseases. And because of also the fact that they get lower yields as compared to those who do, you know, the chemical pesticides, they end up selling their organic product at a very expensive cost if you compare with the other people. So how do we deal with the effectiveness? Kwa sababu unless you guarantee a farmer that I will get proper yields, I have invested in this farm. So what are we going to do to improve efficiency of this biological pesticides?
Okay, one thing with organic farming on a general perspective is that it starts from the soil. So if your soil health is not good, then even if you use a very effective pesticide, the pest will continue to come back to your farm. So with organic farming, it's all about managing the pests, not killing per se. Okay, with the synthetic, it's like you're shooting the pests, like literally shooting the pest. So you've seen the pest, you come with a product that will just clear everything. But then what about the environmental impact? But with you end up killing even the essential or the beneficial pests like the bees that bring about pollination. But with the biological control, you're managing the pests. So I've brought in a biopesticide that has neem oil. Neem oil makes the plant or the leaves non-palatable to the pests. So the pest is there, yes, but it can't feed on my crop. You've managed the pest, the behavior of the pest. So it will starve and it will die. You brought about a product that has the pyrethrin and maybe also a combination of the neem and the aloe vera. It will make the pest to feel irritated by the smell. So it won't come to your crop. That's a repellent.
Right.
That's also a biopesticide. There are others like biological control, the way he has said about the planting plants that act as repellents. There are farmers that do onions, the leafy onions in between their crops. They act as repellents. But remember, they're also affected by pests, like the thrips. They are very common on onions. So you bring about the integrated pest management. So there are this hand picking, there is use of repellents, there is use of the controls. There are also biological pesticides that have microbes, that when you spray, they attach themselves to the insects or the pest, and then they strangle them. So there are different methods of biological control.
Right.
So the effectiveness depends on the timely application and also regular scouting of your farm so that you can do timely application and also the time you apply, not like the time of the day.
Right.
So if you do it when the sun is too hot, the pests have already burrowed in the soil, they are already under the leaves, it won't be effective.
So the best time to apply
very early in the
biological
morning
pesticides is early in the morning.
Or late in the evening.
Is this information out there for the farmers?
Yes.
That one for application, and even the way you've mentioned, we have microbes that play a different role when it comes to dealing with the pests.
Correct.
Then we have what pyrethrin does, we have what pepper does. Do our farmers know this? Kwa sababu utakuta mkulima atatengeneza biopesticide yake kutoka kwa pilipili na ataitumia for all different types of pests. Yet here you are offering different solutions. How do we equip them with this knowledge?
I would like to answer this. First of all, I would like to answer the part about the conception by farmers that the production will not be as good as when you are using synthetic, and also that these products are not as effective as the synthetics are. Now, when we are talking about pest control or pest management, I think, like my colleague Juliet have said, it is not right to just look at killing the pest. Now, organic products are geared to managing. So first thing you must do, and I think she has mentioned that, is scouting. You must be aware when the problem is coming so that you start managing before it becomes destructive. Now, with the synthetic pesticides, we have been trained to believe that when you see them, you go buy some pesticide and you kill them. So you see evidently that you have killed them. But then you are likely to get another problem and another and another and another. Managing, that is firefighting. And firefighting, you won't win. You as the farmer will lose. But if you manage them, then you'll be able to deal with them. Now, the information regarding these products is out there with the farmer. I know there's a caveat there. There's a small area where, like we see this farmer who is trying to make some pesticide, some repellent with Tithonia. Now, you must also know that the concentration of the active ingredients within that product he has made can vary, because maybe you are from Rimuru, somewhere a bit cold. I'm from Ruiru, where it's a bit warmer. So the Tithonia growing in Rimuru could be more wet, and the one in Ruiru could be more concentrated with the repellent activities. So you find a farmer in Ruiru, a farmer from Rimuru understands what the farmer in Ruiru does, and he goes and tries, and it seems like it is not doing very well. This is something that is one of the reasons why farmers will say, I was told, I was shown, but it never performed. But you must remember there is room. It should work for you according to where you are, because we have not established. You see, with the way they did it, they used the materials which were in the farm, but they didn't establish what was the exact concentration. Like when you have a product like alpha-cypermethrin, it has a certain concentration known and packaged and then to all farmers. So that is one of the things. But when you look at the aspect of managing the pest, I think organic is the way to go. Right. Because the consequences of going that way is that you get sporadic pests, outbreaks of pests. But if you are doing organic control, then you'll have it controlled within the ecosystem.
Right. Yeah. So let me ask, when farmers are growing different crops in their farms and they need advice of a particular pest, if it's using the chemical pesticides, they have these field extension officers that they will go to. They have agronomists who will advise them on use this, don't use this in this proportion. When we're talking about organic farming and these different natural substances that we can use, do we have enough trained personnel that go around giving the farmers this knowledge? Kwa sababu ule mkulima huko kambani, huko western, huko ndani, ukianza kumwambia proportions and these chemical terms that microbes, they really, they will not necessarily grasp all that. So do we have enough trained personnel around the country that are advising and educating our farmers on organic farming?
I would say no.
Good.
We don't have enough. Right. Because, first of all, the bigger proportion of us who are in the field are schooled differently. They were schooled. When I was in school, we never mentioned organic farming. Right. We would just mention it in passing. Until now you get interest and then you study. You make your effort. Now, so the bigger portion of the officers in the field are maybe from my background. They have not been trained in that line properly. And if you are not very confident as an officer, you don't talk about it. You avoid talking about it. But for us, who are dealing, because our company deals with organic products mainly. In fact, nearly all 100% of our products are organic. So when we are dealing with organic, it becomes a very, very big task, because you have to keep training from the officers themselves, field officers who are there, also hiring our own to have that matter going on, being repeated to the farmers, and that, okay, there are many companies now various companies who have also tried to do this, but they also face a very, very vigorous defense from the chemical companies, because they have a bigger budget, don't forget. So they are out there in the field. The officers are out there in the field trying to sell their products. So they'll wait until you have trained them. They say, no, those things don't work. Use this one.
Right.
Yeah, and it seems like an easier way. But the truth is, we need a lot of people. We have been, in fact, our biggest job with my colleague here has been training.
Right.
And training managers, training field officers, and all those kind of people.
So at this point, we really can't blame the farmers who are not yet convinced about organic farming, because hata wale watu ambao wanafaa kuwapatia hiyo training are not enough.
Yes.
But we are working on achieving that.
Yes, it's a job. It's an ongoing job.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. We are taking another break, but when we come back, I'll want to hear from you how sustainable is the use of biopesticides, especially for large-scale farmers. And also let us address the issue on the shelf life of these biopesticides, among other questions. And also you'll have to give me the answer to our farm job question of the day. So Mnaikumbuka, why did the tree need to take a nap? I'll expect answers from you at the end of the program. We're taking another short break, but do not go anywhere, because when we come back, there's still going to be a lot to learn when it comes to biological pesticides. Stay with us.